Well, I'm just getting ready to reinstall this light switch, or this electrical receptacle. And the reason why I took it out of the wall was because if you didn't watch those videos, I took the box out, I took the electrical outlet out, I even took the box out of the wall. I drilled a hole down through the floor, fished this new wire down through the floor, and went down to a junction box, and then the junction box, there's another power wire that comes out of that feeds this. And oh, here's the kitty. Hello, kitty. Hello, Pip. How are you? Meow, meow. Anyways, that was for this. This is all electrified now. And I don't know if you saw those videos or not. I made a ton of videos. Here's the electrical outlet I put in, and then I had to hook up a power strip and get all the wires in there and everything, because 5 of these things, these 2 chairs electrified, this console, that console, and then that chair over there. 5 things having to plug into that. And so I brought the power in over there. I've made a whole series. I'm not going to explain it all. But anyways, the one thing I was going to check is, remember, if you saw the video where I drilled a hole through there, I used a Flexibit. Where is it? Here is the Flexibit. And this came in a kit, and with 3 other things, and there's the pieces there. That was like $50, and then I bought an extra extension for another $30. And I was like, well, what if you don't have a Flexibit? Because see, I used a Flexibit and bent it down in the wall and bent it and held it up against the wall, and it was out far enough away from the wall to get my drill on there and stuff. I'm like, what if you don't have a Flexibit? And that's what I'm going to talk to you about. You'd have to measure off of the wall. And remember, I already went downstairs and measured, what was it, 56 inches, remember? And where I drilled this hole was not next to here. The stud is here. And so the bay is from here over, and I drilled the hole about right there. About there. I've not measured this yet. Let's see where it is. 56, and plus I've got sheetrock on this wall where I didn't have sheetrock down below. And this wall happens to be a 2x6 wall above here, as well as there's a 2x6 little cripple wall underneath the floor that's holding up the floor. Then you've got the 2x6 wall. So I know that wall thickness is the same as what I measured. So 56, this should be 55.5 inches. Let's just see if it is. I've not measured it before. And look at that. Here's 55. I'm right there where I drilled that hole. And see, so if I didn't have the Flexibit and I knew where the stud was on where any electrical outlet is in the wall, usually there's a stud on one side or the other. And this stud happens to be on the left-hand side. This is hollow. And that's where the stud is. Here how it's up higher. And this is hollow until it goes over to here, and then there's studs here. So there's a bay in here from here to there, 10 inches at least, maybe 11 inches, probably at least 10 inches, 10 or 11 inches, or I could have drilled anywhere in there. I could have came over in the center of that just to be on the safe side, then measured off the wall, 52 inches, then go underneath the house. And if you know where it is, 52 inches, and you'll be within that bay, okay? But if the stud was over here on the right-hand side, of course I wouldn't want to be in this bay, because if I drilled it up, I wouldn't be able to reach it. After I pull this out, I wouldn't be able to see it or feel it or reach it or anything, because I drilled it in the wrong bay. So if the stud is on the right-hand side, then you would figure out where the next stud is, and usually it's 16-inch center, so you have a 14.5-inch bay. A gap between 2x4s, and this happens to be 2x6s in the wall. It's right there, right about there, and that's on 16-inch centers. Sometimes you get a wall, not always. do you have 16 inches? You might have something else in there. If you've got another T adjoining wall, maybe you've got a couple other 2x4s or a you know, something else in here, and then you don't have a whole wall cavity. So you know, just check. And if I had the bay between, you know, from here to here, then I would take the center of that would be about there. Then I would measure off the wall. You know, 63 inches. Go underneath the house, 63 inches. Drill a hole. If you're off by 1 or 2 inches, you're still going to be in this bay, right? You don't have to drill a hole perfectly next to this stud over here and try to get it exactly straight underneath there. And if you're off by, you know, 1 or 2 inches or something, or the walls, you're like, I'm not sure if this is right or not. Maybe you're drilling up right into the bottom of the stud, or on the wrong side of the bay, or whatever. Just, you know, get it over away from there a little bit. And if you're on an exterior wall, this is if you're on an exterior wall, obviously. Any exterior wall, then you can measure off walls, you know, from wherever you're going. Because, you see, that happens to be on there. If I wanted to find that one, if I wanted to find out that bay, obviously I'd measure off of that wall from there over and find out where the wall cavity is. Maybe the wall cavity is on this side or that side. You'll have to feel. And if you can't figure it out, take the cover plate off and then take a little nail and tap it on both sides at an angle so the cover plate will cover it right through, and then you can feel where the stud is if you've got a question. You see what I mean? And do it the same way. So anyways, that's the continuation of how to do it without the Flexibit. Okay? But now that I have the Flexibit, like there, I would do the same thing. I would just stick it down there and away I go. And you know, if you do it from down below and you drill a hole with a paddle bit and your drill and you get it down in there, now you're going to have to fish the wire, obviously, from down in the crawl area underneath the house and come up. I drilled a hole here, so I pushed the wire from here down. Okay? And once you have all this out, then you got to get your hand in there, and you're going to have insulation if you're on an exterior wall. So as you're poking the wire up from underneath, you might be poking it up in the insulation. So then you get your hand in here and kind of reach over in between the insulation and feel it and all that kind of stuff. Poke it up far enough so that you can reach your hand, maybe grab it here or over here, whatever. You could take a little piece of wire and with a hook on it, shove it in there, see if you can feel it, so at least you can get your hand in there and stuff. And that's the other thing. If you can't get your hand in there far enough and you really want to, you could cut this out and put a 2-gang cut-in box in, and so you got enough room. Then you've got to cover that up. You can put 2 electrical outlets side by side if you want, or you can get a cover plate that's blank on one side and the electrical receptacle on one side, and just put the electrical receptacle in. You could do something like that. I wouldn't want to do that out here though. You know, I could do that in a closet, behind a couch, behind a bed, underneath the stairs, you know, places like that. But someplace out here by a door that's going out in the main room, I really wouldn't want to do that out here. So, you know, but that could be an option too. Okay? So good luck when you're drilling your hole down underneath the house. What is my project today? Project is, I've got to put this electrical outlet back in. I took it out initially, not because anything was wrong with it, but because I took it out, cut out the box, pulled the box out so I could shove this wire in here. This is a new wire that was never in this box before. These were in here before, that was connected to that. I'm still going to use this electrical receptacle, and I've got my cover plate here, and now I got to put it back because I fished this down. I used this box to get power to go underneath the house, so I shoved this down underneath the house and did some work down there. Now, before I turn the breaker back on, I've got to cover all this back up. I got to reconnect this. So that's that's what I'm going to do. If that is what you want to see, stick around.